Post-election analysis is underway in Malaysia after tense and closely fought polls.
Saya, Muhammad Najib bin Haji Abdul Razak.
Prime Minister Najib Razak was sworn in for a second term this afternoon. His ruling Barisan Nasional coalition held on to power but suffered its worst ever performance. BN lost the popular vote but forms the government with a simple majority. It took 133 out of 222 parliamentary seats, well short of the two-thirds majority it lost in the last elections in 2008. The opposition Pakatan Rakyat Alliance won 89 seats, 7 more than its historic gains in the previous round. BN did, however, manage to wrestle back the state of Kedah. It was a somber Mr. Najib who faced the media after the results were out. He pointed to what he called a tsunami of Chinese voters turning against BN and said he was worried about polarization. He urged all Malaysians to accept the results.
We have to show to the world that we are a mature democracy. Whatever happens, the decision of the people, the will of the people must be respected. And we as Barisan Nasional respect the will of the rakyat or the people.
But opposition leader Anwar Ibrahim is calling the results the worst electoral fraud in Malaysian history and accuses Mr. Najib of being involved. Questioning the legitimacy of the government, he called for a rally at a stadium in Petaling Jaya on Wednesday evening to protest against the outcome.
We want the Election Commission to give a satisfactory answer to why this fraudulent process were being condoned or done, and they are clearly, or they were, complicit to the crime. We say these irregularities have cost us many seats.
Mr. Anwar said he intends to work with electoral reform group Bersih to push for a new election commission to rectify the alleged fraud. Bersih itself says it intends to set up a people's tribunal to investigate the claims. But the group's co-chair said there is a silver lining.
To me, the hope lies in the fact that so many of the rakyat came out yesterday and so many of the rakyat put themselves out to defend the integrity of their elections with body and soul, you know, if you know what I mean, physically by their presence, by their vigilance, by their reporting. They were so engaged in this process. I think it's going to be really hard to cheat again because the rakyat will know exactly what is happening.
As I mentioned earlier, Mr. Najib acknowledged a substantial loss of votes among Chinese Malaysians, but some analysts disagree on the significance.
I disagree. I don't think it's a racial thing. It's really a class thing. And of course, if you look at the seats that the DAP won, they were actually urban seats. And urban seats are very mixed. So that's a true reflection of the urban demographics. It so happens that the DAP chose to contest in seats which had slightly more than 50%, you know, Chinese voters. I think the other factor that's not been considered, and of course it's early because we don't really have the detailed results, would be the young voters and the first-time voters. And these are the people also in the urban areas.
It was a Malaysian tsunami, not a Chinese tsunami, that swept the opposition to more seats in Parliament, says the Democratic Action Party's Lim Kit Siang. And he says he wouldn't have beaten Abdul Ghani Othman in a clash of titans in Johor without sizable support from Malay voters. The DAP did, however, make huge inroads in the southern state with Chinese backing. A reporter has reaction the morning after.
Johor remains a bastion of the ruling coalition Barisan Nasional, but the result showed a significant erosion of support for them. Notably, strong Chinese support for the opposition played an important part, helping them secure 5 parliamentary and 18 state seats. In his post-election analysis, Prime Minister Najib Razak has called for a national reconciliation process to heal the racial divide.
I hope that we are really one Malaysia is not differentiated by race. Yeah, this is our biggest hope for the new government.
The Prime Minister, he should get together and solve the issues once for all. Then after 5 years, then the Chinese will come back.
Dari pandangan saya, kerajaan perlu lebih tegas dalam benda perhubungan dengan orang cakap tu dalam usaha untuk menyatu padukan seluruh kaum lah.
The Barisan Nasional has said that it will work towards a more moderate and accommodating environment.
It is a new phenomenon as far as Johor is concerned. Of course, we cannot ignore it.
The ruling coalition suffered a heavy casualty when outgoing Chief Minister Abdul Ghani Othman lost to the DAP's Lim Kit Siang in the hotly contested seat of Gelang Patah.
A blemish in the election is that we couldn't get more PAS and PKR candidates to be elected as MPs and as assemblymen. But nonetheless, we are committed and we are resolved that Pakatan Rakyat will work even harder in order to make Johor the frontline state of a political change in the country.
Mr. Abdul Ghani said he accepted his defeat. However, he added that even though the opposition had won, they were also losers because the racial polarization that was seen in the election will not be good for the country. Saiful Bari Smile, Channel News Asia, Johor.